I'm sure you've been the beneficiary of a brother or an older man or a father walking you through something that was difficult for you. I'm sure you've been the beneficiary of somebody giving you some level of advice or some kind of warning saying, hey, listen, don't do this, man. Don't go there, man. I'm here today to talk about brotherhood and talk about the power of connection and community to others. Brotherhood, the power of connection and community with others. So the first point that we want to talk about is, no man is an island. I learned that in high school. I forget the writer of that particular poem, but I remember thinking about that poem, that no man is an island. All of us need and all of us desire connection. So in talking about the power of connection for men, we are not lone wolves. We are not created or here just to live life by ourselves. We need to be connected to other men. We need to be connected to other people who are on this journey with us, who are going in the same direction. The first thing I want to talk about with regard to that is isolation. Isolation is known as the silent killer. It is definitely reported that particularly white males in age ranges ranging from probably 20 to around 40 to 45-ish are the most susceptible group in population for risk of suicide. That number should be staggering. And then that number is based only on the numbers that are reported. And it cripples the mind and it boggles the mind to think about all of the risk and all of the times where men wanted to harm themselves that didn't go reported. And so we have to be on guard, brothers, for isolation. It is the silent killer. What typically tends to happen is a man gets into a cycle. He gets into a place where he doesn't feel like there is anybody there for him. And as he gets to that depression, as he gets to that place, he goes in the doldrums of this prideful sense of keeping it to himself and fixing it and wanting to take care of it himself. And he doesn't ask for help. And the next thing you know, that person is not around anymore. Or the next thing you know, we hear about something tragic that happened to that individual. Isolation is a silent killer. Let's not isolate ourselves from one another. Let's not be victims and fall prey to loneliness. Loneliness increases depression, and loneliness increases us going into the doldrums of life and feeling like there's no hope. Hopelessness, despair. Loneliness and not having someone around us increases the possibility and the risk of those things. And it could even lead to physical illness. So we don't want to be in isolation. And we know that we were not meant to live life alone. The next thing I want to talk about is rebuilding brotherhood. Now this is one that hits me hard, because rebuilding brotherhood for me looks like asking the questions of myself. Do I want the brothers in my life that were in my life, maybe the broken relationships, the things that were scarred, the things that were fractured? Man, do I believe that God has the power to remember? Remembering means to put it back together again. Remember those relationships. Am I willing to go down the road and do the work that I know that it takes for those relationships to be restored? Am I honest enough with myself to realize what the cost is for those relationships to be restored? So if you're there, and I'm not even saying that you have to be there, because there are some relationships in your past with other men that if you go back into those relationships, they will be triggering. You go back into those relationships, they will be traumatizing to you. We do not want to re-trigger or re-traumatize anything. We want to be connected to people who are safe. We want to be connected to people who have our best interests in mind. But at the same time, what are the opportunities that you have to repair the breaches? What's a phone call you can make? What's a door you can knock on? What's a Facebook message you can send to try to rekindle and try to restructure and rebuild that relationship, rebuild that friendship? And even if it's not something that happened negatively in your relationship, maybe it's a friend that you just lost touch with. Maybe it's somebody you used to be cool with, used to hang out with, used to kick it with, but now you guys just don't kick it anymore for whatever reason. Life happens, you know, maybe y'all got married, you know, went your separate ways, education, career, all those types of things. Relationships with your significant other that brought you away from the connection that you needed with the dude, the accountability that you needed with that guy. And now you've come to a point in your life where you need that accountability again. Who can you call? What steps can you take? That's for everybody to realize within themselves and realize and know that in order to have friendships that matter and are valuable, each person in that friendship has to be vulnerable, because vulnerability leads to trust. And so many times for men, we don't think about being vulnerable within these relationships. We don't think about opening ourselves up, right? We have this macho-ness among us, right? We have this, I call it pride and haughtiness among us that just says, man, you know, I can handle this. I want to speak to somebody today. You need to understand when it's too much for you to handle, and you need to reach out for brotherhood, and you need to connect with somebody who, you know what, they might be a little bit higher than you in what you're trying to do. They may have progressed to a different point than you're at right now. Doesn't mean they're better than you. Doesn't mean that they're more valuable than you. Doesn't mean that they have more worth than you have. Don't let yourself think that. That's not the truth. What it does mean is they have some more experience in life, in career, in relationships. And man, there's so much you can learn from that individual. I was just telling somebody this the other day. I am of the philosophy that we are men are so unique and gifted and talented, and we are so intricately wired, right, for purpose, that, man, I can learn from somebody who's older than me, who's more experienced than me, and I can learn from somebody who's less experienced than me, largely because we all come from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different spaces, right? Everybody's got something to give. Everybody's got some level of talent. I'll never forget when I had just learned that I got accepted to Officer Candidate School. I was an enlisted sailor. Just learned I got selected to Officer Candidate School. And one of the officers that was there, he was trying to tell me how OCS was gonna be and all of that. And he said, Craig, I'm gonna tell you something, man. He said, when you enter into this brotherhood of naval officers, he said, one of the things you're gonna find out is every officer you meet, every naval you meet, whether they're a Mustang, doesn't matter if they came out of the academy, doesn't matter, right? Everybody you meet is gonna have that one thing that they do extremely well. He said, Craig, it's your responsibility to find that one thing that you do well to contribute to the community of naval officers and make this Navy continue to be strong and great. And so that's what I say to you, men. You're gonna meet men. You're gonna meet other brothers. You're gonna meet other people that, you know, they may not necessarily be what you're used to. They may be unorthodox. The way they do things might not necessarily fall according to tradition. But I can guarantee you, every man you meet has one thing, I mean at least one thing, that they do exceptionally well. It might be that they're now homeless, right? And they were never able to fulfill their full potential. It may be now that they're strung out on drugs, right? And you only see vestiges of their talent, vestiges of who they once were, vestiges of who they were really aiming to be and the road that they were on. You only see glimpses of it. You only see phases of it. You only see distant memories of it. But every single person you meet, every single man you meet, has one thing they do exceptionally well. And I believe that that thing that they received to do exceptionally well is for you. It's to pass along to the brotherhood. It's to pass along to other men who will teach other men, who will teach younger men, and maybe teach older men, and so that we can be stronger together. So The last thing I want to say is, if you're seeking friendship, you want to give what you need. There's a scripture in passage in the Bible that says, a man who desires to have friends must first show himself friendly, right? And I know there's a certain president who says, be the change you wish to see. I don't know if it was that president, or I don't know if it was somebody else who coined that phrase, but give what you need. If you want to receive something in a particular way, make sure you have the capacity to give that thing out. Be the friend you're looking for. Don't just complain about the friendship you're not receiving. Level up, change, turn it around, right? Dig down deep into yourself and be that friend that you're looking for. And you will be shocked and surprised what comes back to you, because you tend to attract what you put out. All right, man. That's it. That ends our series for men's mental health. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you got something out of all of these videos that I'm doing. Listen, I've got more videos. I did a whole series on this. I don't know if I'm good with the pointing thing on YouTube. You know how people say, man, look at this video, check this next video out. Listen, go to my channel. If you're interested in content like this, if this blessed you, if you liked this video, man, pass it along to another brother, man. And even if you don't pass this video on to another brother, man, like, if you see this and you're encouraged or motivated to help somebody else, man, please reach out to a brother, because we're hurting. We need help as men, right? There's so many tropes and so many narratives going out in the culture and in the media and in the stratosphere and in social media about us, that it's up to us not to necessarily change the narrative, right? But it's up to us to shock the narrative. And that's a little bit different. What that means is we need to act in such a way where there leaves no question what we are about. And that's when we're connected and tied to our mission, vision, values, and core purpose. So I want to call you out on that, man. I want to call you out on that, brother. Be connected to your mission, vision, core values, and purpose. And there is nothing that can stop you. You will be unstoppable if you do that. All right, man. I love all you. And I love specifically you, that man that's watching right now, who feels like he don't have nowhere else to go. I want to tell you there's victory in Jesus, and that you are greater than what you could ever imagine. And you should and deserve to and ought to live royally and live well. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.